Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant, part of the Ask the Accountant network. As always, you are joined every week by myself and my co-host, Mr. Aaron Patrick. Aaron, how are you and how has your week been?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. I'm in my happy place. I'm in the studio, so it's good to not have to get up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm liking every moment of that. No, it's good. Had a productive week. We've put some big changes. It seems like every week we're going through a bit of a clean up at the moment. We're kind of cleaning systems up, processes up, all that sort of stuff. So every week seems like a big week, and I'm actually quite looking forward to. We were just talking about off air. So we've got 2 weeks to go until Manchester, or a week after that. No, 3 weeks, isn't it, until Manchester? Just have a week where I can just kind of go back to a bit of normality. It'll be quite good. But what about you? You've definitely had a busy week, right? Like you've had guests, you've had all sorts going on.
We've been hosts with the most. So Ash and Charlotte came up Thursday, landed first thing Thursday morning. So we've had a few days of the fringe shows, good food, good company, and then we finished it all off on Saturday night with the military tattoo, which was fantastic as always. I had a very good week. I can't really remember what I went through on Monday to Wednesday last week with the firm, but
that's always a good sign
on my vlogs, so I can watch back.
That means it's going well. If you if there's no kind of pain points or anything to remember.
Well, I imagine there's plenty of pain points, but none that really scarred me. So always lots going on as per usual. But of course, it's not just us you're here for every week. It is the community that we have built around us. So let's go through and say hello to all of our community. 8:30 on the dot. Cheryl says, good morning. Have we missed a show number? No, Cheryl, it's just somebody's administration is lacking. So
hashtag bring back Lizzie.
Yeah, Aaron didn't update the show number. But this is episode 199. Next week is episode 200, and I will talk about that in a moment. Good morning from Paul Whitehouse. Mahul says, good morning from sunny London. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Blue skies in Edinburgh. Blue skies in Edinburgh as well. So sunny all round. And then we've got morning all from Dave Poole. Paul Ingram says, morning. Hope everyone had a great week. Thank you very much, Paul. I think we did. Suzanne says, morning. Good morning to you. Kirsty says, good morning, everyone. Countdown to my company 19th year end and then celebrate at Burley Horse Trials for the 5th of September. My favourite place. Fantastic. Sounds like a good day out. So Kirsty says, it's amazing the powers of a great weekend not working. Oh, yes, very much so. And Stephanie Marshall says, morning, gents. Week 6 of the summer holidays. And is that a good thing? Is that can't wait to get them back to school?
The emoji doesn't look good.
How is the 6 weeks holiday still here? Have we not finished this yet? I mean, yeah, Edinburgh schools went back to school 2 weeks ago now. So it's a bit more peace and quiet in the city of Edinburgh during the weekdays. Weekends are still mental. But yes, all good. Thank you very much. And DI6214, good morning. Good morning to you too. Right. Let's have a look. Where are we? Lots going on in the world. So first of all, as I've mentioned, next week is a landmark episode for Ask the Accountant.
Certainly
200 weekly episodes. And that's not including the account of all the podcast pit stops. We've got cool friends, we've cool locations, the grid walks. We must be clocking 400 odd shows by this point. With all the different episodes added together. But next week marks a very special 200 milestone for us all. So with it being a bank holiday, we may have a longer show in store for you all. Got things that Aaron and I want to chat about. We've got the usual news. We want to have a bit of a look back, and we're going to have some various special guests, hopefully, throughout the show. And on top of that, what we would like is we want to go a bit of old school. We want you to call in. So what we'd like is you to send us voice notes, telling us what you love about the show, what it is you turn up for each week, what your favorite topics are that we've covered, etc. Whatever you want to share with us and our audience about why you enjoy Ask the Accountant. What's your favorite aspect? Is it the grid walk? Is it the weekly lives? And so on. Aaron, how can they send you a voice note so we can play it on air?
Just send it via WhatsApp, Instagram, LinkedIn. We'll figure it out. And your DMs are open as well, right? Like,
yep,
send them to you
absolutely.
too as well. From a technical point of view, we'll figure it out. I mean, the roadcaster's pretty good, right? So
yeah,
we'll figure out how we're gonna do.
We'll make it work somehow.
It might be live tech. We could even do a live tech thing of how we do it all online and how we're gonna get this to do. But one way or another, we'll get it there. I think the easiest thing is if we get it to us however you want, we'll stick it into a central location, and then we'll sort out. You guys don't need to worry about that. Just before you go on though, you said 400 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Which is probably right. How much content do you think we've got on the YouTube channel? Because I thought that'd be a good, nice way of figuring it out.
About 400 episodes.
You think 400 videos? Yeah. 1.2 thousand.
1,200 videos. Is that including shorts?
That will be, yeah. So some of them is doubled up and everything else. But yeah. But that's there's 1.2 thousand videos on there. 1,200.
We are a content making machine since October 2022.
I know. Madness, isn't it? Madness.
Absolutely incredible. Fantastic. Right. Okay. So let's dive into this week's topics then. And first of all, a big topic, or a topic that needs to be at the top of the list. And we need to say goodbye to Sam Wood, who, for those that don't know who Sam Wood is, then where have you been for the last couple of years? Sam Wood has been part of the HMRC MTD IT team, helping to gather feedback, explain why things will or won't happen based on feedback, and generally been a bit of a leading light in the space as to why MTD IT was a good choice for us all to embrace, or not in some people's minds. But yeah, so Sam announced last week that he is moving on to a new project. He's not told us what that project is.
No.
But I mean, I can only hope that HMRC replace him and maintain that role of having a liaison with the accounting and bookkeeping industry. I know we've still got Craig. He's not going anywhere, to my knowledge. I mean, insider information tells me actually I think I already know what his next project is, but I wouldn't want to announce that publicly. But yeah, so hopefully Craig gets a new right-hand person who he can send to events and stuff he doesn't want to go to or is too busy elsewhere to go to. Because yeah, Sam going to events and stuff has been a fantastic asset to our industry, and it's ensured that people like ourselves and on our community are able to express their opinions to HMRC through the channel that was Sam. So Sam, from myself and Aaron, we wish you the best of luck in your new project. Excited to see what that is for you. But yeah, thank you for everything you've done for us over the years. And yeah, just being realistic with us and honest and open was in all of our conversations. It's been fantastic. Anything you'd like to add, Aaron?
I just think it's such a refreshing situation to be in, right? Like, if you'd have told us 5 years ago, whatever the time frame is, that there'd actually be a personality at HMRC, you'd kind of think that was crazy, right? Like the idea that there's actually someone there that we can go to at events, like you were saying, that was wandering around, wanted to jump in and ask questions to you. Because he's DM'd me before when I put a video up, and he's like, "Is there anything I should be worried about?" Do you know what I mean? Like, because I was size XYZ or whatever, right? Like, it's just so refreshing. And And it shows the difference. I know I make this comparison a lot, but I think both Craig and Sam should be really proud of where they are. But if you compare Company's House versus HMRC, right, both have had some major changes in the last couple of years, both to, really disruptive for our industry, really disruptive to our clients. Company's House with their ACSP changes, and obviously HMRC with MTD and so on. I think we would be in a much worse position if we didn't have the likes of Craig and the likes of Sam to bounce off and talk to and shout at if we need to, and vent if we need to. I mean, it's been just so refreshing, hasn't it, to have that face, that person, that constant there. And it wasn't just a case of they were just standing on stage and talking and then kind of disappearing. And it wasn't just a case that they were standing at their stands and just hoping people came to them. They generally were wandering around and going to events. I had a really candid and really awesome conversation with Sam at the ICB's celebration event that we had, right? Like, just the idea that you're there having a proper conversation with a real person just happens to be HMRC representation, that you can, at the same time have a little moan or a little suggestion or whatever you need to do, right? Like, it was just so refreshing. And again, if Company's House could have done something like this, I think we would have been in a whole different position, because we would have been able to, tell them that this was wrong, that was wrong. They feel like a faceless organization, right? Like, it's just, we can throw as much criticism we want at them. We don't know if that's going to stick. We don't know where it's going to go. We don't have anything. We have confidence that from a HMRC point of view, especially from MTD, that if there was something not quite working, then we can throw that at them. And they're not going to be able to change everything. They're only human, right? Like, they can't promise the world, but at least we know that that's being listened to. At least we know that, if there is a chance to change it, it's going to happen, right? And I think that's credit to them that's been there. The fact that we're dedicating, the first part of the show to one individual from HMRC shows everything, right? Like, shows where they've come, how far they are, and like I said, like you said, hopefully Craig's kind of got that succession plan in mind, and hopefully there's someone else that's going to be able to take over. But every bit of respect to what Sam's done. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for, letting us chew your ear off, and, and for being a decent person as well, right? Like, because that's what made it easy, right? You could go and have a conversation with him. You could talk about it. I found out that he was listening to us while playing Zelda, right? Like, that's so cool, right? That's such a cool little bit to remember by. So thank you for doing what you've done. Good luck with what you're doing next. And Company's House, take note.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Company's House could learn a few things of how to do liaisons and just listening to stakeholders in the same way HMRC have done in this example. So absolutely fantastic. So we've just got a few late people arriving, so we'll say hello to them quickly. So we've got Sue Green saying good morning, Sue. Rahul says, I've been watching since almost the beginning of the show. So October 2022 we started this, a long time ago. Tim says, slightly late, good morning from breezy, cloudy Guernsey. Good morning, Tim. Chris White says, even later, good morning from sunny Hildenbury. And Nadine says, good morning, Nadine. Brilliant.
Also, today. Well done. Welcome aboard, everyone.
Just another call of action, really. Last week we said we're aiming for 4,000 watch hours on YouTube. So go back and watch your favorites. We are now at 3,500 watch hours. We were at 3,400 last week. So we're getting there. We are making progress. But if you are at a bit of a loose end, or you want a bit of background noise whilst you're busy doing your work, then why not have a look at some of our grid walks and some of our Cool Friends episodes to help us get those watch hours up. The Cool Friends episodes with Andy Wainwright and Ash Hall from Engager and TaxCalc have done particularly well So they are definitely worth having a look at if you've not seen them yet, to find out about their journeys in the industry. So yeah, anything you guys can help to do to get us over that 4,000 watch hours target by the end of February would be much appreciated. Right, I was out looking at YouTube. Now I need to go back to my show notes so I know where we are.
Ever the professional. 199 episodes in, and
it's 200 episodes in. I've got this whole segue thing completely nailed. Right, I'm going to come on to an MTD topic in a moment, but a couple of bits of news first to break things up. First of all, those that are using Claude or aren't using Claude yet but want to, but find that the business package or enterprise package, which are the ones you should be using if you're using it for work, are too expensive, there's good news. So Claude last week announced that the Teams package, which is the first package you want to go to, is now a minimum of 2 users, where it was a minimum of 5 originally. So accessibility's just become a lot more affordable. What's that put it in at? £36 a month, I believe, something like that. If you can't get value out of £36 a month on Claude, you're doing something wrong. Like catastrophically wrong. We pay, came off the old American Express card the other day at £360 odd we pay for Claude in my firm, because I've got a policy in place that anyone that wants to use Claude AI has to use Claude, and they go onto the Teams package, so I know it's all safe and secure. And yeah, but even £360 a month, I feel like I walk away alone having got value out of that price point. Even if no one else has, I've got value out of using it. I spend most of my days butting up against credit limits and usage limits because of all the things I'm doing at the same time with it. But yeah, so if you aren't using Claude, or Claude's been too expensive for you to try because you know you've got to use the Teams package, good news, it's dropped down to 2 users from 5. Aaron, does that change anything in your firm or anything like that?
Not in my firm, but I'm really happy for everyone else, because it was one of those ones where, because it was 5, wasn't it? So
it was 5, yeah.
100 and something pound minimum, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Per month.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap. It was like it was about £95 minimum. 95,
right? Yeah. Which, you know, that is a fair chunk of change for a small practice, right? So, like you said, the word accessibility, right? That's exactly what it is. More I think about this, though, it is making me think about the cost of AI. And I think now that the AI Watch series has had its kind of revitalization and everything else, I think you, me, and Tim should do an episode where we open up the can of worms and we tell each other accountability wise how much we're actually spending on AI.
I dread to think what yours is.
Yeah, and I don't think yours is going to be much better either, right?
Now I know it is. Between Vinyl, Claude,
Google, Gemini, you know, you just
lovable.
The open art costing. Oh yeah, I think that would be a really interesting episode to have a look at, because you're right, we're getting value out of it, no doubt about it. Okay, some of it is us kind of kicking the can down the road and trying things out and testing things. Like I bought the Insta 360's AI upgrade for it, and I've used it once or twice, or whatever. Right? Like sometimes you do that kind of idea where you just you shiny thingy syndrome. You know, G-Class Grammarly is a cost for AI these days. Do you know what I mean?
No, because I don't use it, but I do use Whisper, so yeah, that would be on there as well. Christ.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's figure out what that cost is.
Yeah, let's do that.
Especially, because I think this is a great news for everyone, and the fact that people can jump in there. But it is, I can understand exactly why why Claude's done this, because that cost is just going to go up and up and up for everyone, right? Like, you'll start with 2 users, and then you'll be like well, we've got to give this to the rest of the team, right? You know what I mean? We've not gone down the route of Claude for everyone. They've all got access to Microsoft Copilot as a standard, and then And then if they
You're trying to
want
encourage them to use the right tools, Aaron, not hinder them. So,
but if they want the right tool, then they just ask, and we provide it for them, right? And it's one of those where not everyone, just because it's there doesn't mean that they need to use it. And a lot of I'm actually moving more to back to ChatGPT, right? Like that is my number one AI tool at this point in time. But that's because a lot of it is that automation. A lot of it is it's going off, it's doing things, it's doing its agent work and coming back. I think I looked at the other day, I've got 14 scheduled different AI bits that are going off on a daily basis, or daily/weekly basis. But there's 14 scheduled AI agents that I have that sat there and go through, which I couldn't do on Claude. Or at least if I did it on Claude, I'd kind of have a bit more of a, it's just not as elegant to do those sort of agent items going through. So I'm really excited for where that's going to go in our firm and how we're going to be able to make the most of that. And that means like I'm the only one really using ChatGPT, or they can kind of jump on my Claude. So we've got options everywhere and everything else. But that price point is only going to go up for people who start using it. The more you use it, the more expensive it is. And at one point it feels like, and like you said, like you get value out of it, so it's fine. But the cost we're putting in, or the amount we're spending on AI compared to this time last year, compared to like the year before, it'd be really interesting, I think, to have a look at that and kind of, talk candidly about, do we actually get, like, accountability, isn't it? Like, do we actually get benefits out of it? So this is great, right? This is the way forward, and I hope that people are going to jump on it, and I hope people can see it, even if they're just going to reconcile some bank accounts with it now and again, or just do some of that. If you haven't got that kind of, is creative mind the right word, or whatever it's going to be, of like building agents or whatever and everything else, just use it to reconcile a bank, or update your T's and C's, or whatever it's going to be, right? Like just have that opportunity to go into that. And I think that's where people will see the most out of it, right?
Absolutely. In the comments, we've got Mahul saying, I've already started watching some of the Great Cool Friends episodes. Thank you very much, Mahul. And
nice.
Last night I watched the AI series with Tim from last Thursday. It was brilliant. There we go. I've not watched that yet. I need to watch that. I was in your favorite cocktail bar at that point on my third cocktail from Cocktail Geeks.
What theme was it?
It was a journey beyond. Basically, they were to cross between Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons, and stuff like that. So it was very good. And Kirsty says, having been through the Ask the Accountant cards, I spotted a few cool friends I haven't heard, so we'll catch up. There we go. That's a great way of finding episodes. And Sue Green says, Claude, cheaper than chat teams now. That's fab news. It is.
That's a good point, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. So Claude is now cheaper and, in my opinion, better than ChatGPT. And we won't even talk about Copilot and the fact that it's free for a reason, because you've got no value. But
well, it's definitely not free. I can tell you that for a fact.
It's free with everything. You don't. Oh no, you pay. Well, there's a free version which is awful, and there's a £300 a year version which is not really all that much better.
It has its use. Paul, defend it.
Can you block him from the comments? He's spreading fake news, Paul is. And the second bit of software news is Apron and QuickBooks integration. Aaron, you've seen a lot more about this than I have. But my understanding is that you can now go into QuickBooks, select some bills for payment, and choose Apron as the payment providing tool for that. Am I correct in saying that?
You certainly are. And what I am really impressed about, and this is the first time it's ever happened, you know how normally when we have these deep integrations with the world of QuickBooks, they'll QuickBooksify it. And you can kind of see from both sides, right? Like QuickBooks doesn't want you to think you're leaving the QuickBooks ecosystem, and they're very much like, you'll go in there and it'll be the fonts and the colors and all that sort of stuff, right? And it looks part of the ecosystem and everything else. Not with Apron. Now, when you click on Pay with Apron, it just brings up like almost like a browser within a browser, and you're basically taken to the Apron ecosystem, which is amazing, right? Because that means we get all the functionality, none of the faff, none of this. Oh well, we wanted to bring this functionality, but it'll cost X amount of dev time to build a button that will connect that, to do that, to do this, to do that, right? This is very much a case of, if you want to use that functionality within QuickBooks, click the button, it'll come up basically an Apron instance. You complete, you set who's going to be approvers, set where it's paid from, boom, straight into it. Works really, really well. Loving the idea that the idea that they can actually just do that directly into the product. However, my bit of criticism on this, and this is where I don't think it was beta tested all that well, because when you go into any payment,
I'm sorry, QuickBooks didn't test something very well. Groundbreaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, it's QuickBooks. No, carry on.
But when you go in and you go into any payment within QuickBooks, no matter if you've attached Apron or not, it now comes up with viewing Apron as the button, and the terminology is not quite right. Like, it says make payment, where you don't make a payment. I've done a video on it. It's all kind of up there and everything else. It's stuff that's easily fixed, but I was frustrated that kind of view in Apron is now appearing everywhere, and it's like, well, that's a bit confusing. And I have already had criticism or people say that, well, why are we being forced Apron in our face when they weren't using? They were using another party, right? Like, that to me is where this integration's kind of let itself down. But I think this is really positive that we've had a deep integration with a third party, and they've not had to compromise on it, right? Where we've seen in the past where they've had to, kill this functionality. Like the one I'll always talk about is the QuickBooks Advanced Payroll, right? It wasn't a QuickBooks product. It was a third party. And that third party was just painted to look like QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And because they couldn't make every bit work and all that sort of stuff, they actually had to reduce the functionality within the original solution. And it just became frustrating. It was like things like, for you wanted, like, you couldn't access it on your iPad, and there was stuff like that that just frustrating. This doesn't have any of that issue, because instead of having to like recreate it inside a different environment, they've just gone, well, that solution works really well, so let's just give you access to it without having to go to another tab and go through there and work through it. So yeah, look, this is really positive news. I hope Apron looks at what happened with another integration like this over in Zero Land, where what's his name? Cresco kind of went all in on it, and their product kind of started to kind of dwindle because of it. I hope that Apron see this and don't kind of follow that same route, because and hopefully the fact that it's you'll probably know more than I do, right? But you'd imagine that the idea that this isn't them having to rebuild it or anything else, that it is just in the same instance. Hopefully that means that it's not a massive resource drain, and it is something that both parties can benefit from without having to reinvent the wheel to get there, right? So yeah, fingers crossed.
Definitely. Right, in the comments we've got Paul Ingram saying, does anyone use Stream Connect? So for those that aren't aware, Stream Connect is like a bank statement fetching tool. It's been around quite a while now, to be fair to it. It's been around, I'd say, since COVID. I'm sure I first came across them at Accounting Web Conference post-COVID, I want to say, or pre-COVID. It was the first one anyway, a very long time ago. I use Analytics at the moment, but that contract is coming up to our annual renewal point, and we are looking at what the options are. For the first time in 4 or 5 years, we're actually reviewing if that's the best tool on the market for us at the moment or not. Not to say there's anything wrong with Analytics at all. It's fantastic. But it's just that natural point where we can sit and review features and changes and directions. So I don't use Stream Connect. I've not used it in years, so I couldn't give you a honest opinion on it in its current state. Have you played with it recently?
Yeah, so part of the acquisition one of the practices had Stream Connect and raved about it. And I was like you, Armalytics was kind of the only one I've been used before. Prior, way back when I used what were they called? They were blue. They had Stream in their name. Can't remember what they called. QuickBooks acquired them in the end. Bankstream, that was what they called. Yeah, right. Bankstream was I used way back in the day. I will say though, as much as I love Stream Connect, Armalytics, all that sort of stuff, does frustrate me that this is a necessity when open banking kind of promised us that functionality anyway. I mean, I'll get on my soapbox and talk about it. Yep. And I did a video about it over the weekend about how there is a better way, and that is Sage Embedded Services, where you don't even need to worry about Stream Connect or Armalytics or any of those third parties, because you just get the data that we should already have. So yeah, look, I'm on my soapbox about it, but yeah, for me, loved it actually. Like playing around with it, like it's it's a nice situation. I still really like the fact that Armalytics has that connection in Engager, so it kind of makes it super easy for us to get that connection through and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't think you go wrong, Paul. I think it's a good piece of kit, and yeah, the practice we bought it from couldn't go without it. So yeah,
fantastic. Kirsty St. John, great. QuickBooks listened. We've said just use Apron. Have they fixed the receipts yet? Which was awful. I don't know. Which one are we talking about there?
So she's talking about the QuickBooks receipts capture area, because
just don't bother.
In America they have an amazing solution which is fantastic and could easily, like, you won't need to use Apron and Dex or whatever, for most of your clients out there. Absolutely brilliant. We just haven't had it in the UK yet, and it's now been 2 years. I want to say, like, yeah, come on, let's just give us the tools so we can go and do our job, people. Come on.
Brilliant. Okay, now Dave's got a really good point here. So Dave Sillett, if you haven't heard Dave speak at an event, please go and see Dave speak at an event. Watch his videos. There is not much better authority on the balancing of the impact and benefits of AI and getting the security, etc. right. So Dave says, hi guys, also that cost of the subscriptions is massively subsidized already. OpenAI, Anthropic, or the hyperscalers, venture capitalists supporting them, are losing huge money on the subscriptions. The max 20 times sub that I use on Claude/OpenAI is potentially reported at potentially 5 to 10% of the actual subsidized token cost. So use it while you have a free ride, and it's a good reason to be wary about being reliant on any agentic AI for end-to-end tasks, which I don't generally endorse for accounting work. Absolutely. And it's actually a really good point, Dave, because we, as an industry, we aren't very switched on to this, because what a lot of people don't realize is we've already gone through this with cloud softwares. So everyone complains about QuickBooks and Xero and the prices of softwares going up and up and up. But actually, they're going up and up and up because, yes, there's inflation, but there's also, if you look at the cost of desktop software and licenses back in the day, cloud software came in at a bargain price, absolutely slashed price compared to using desktop solutions. And that was to get us all to adopt it. And now we're getting more and more in line with what those software prices used to be like on an annual basis. So we've already witnessed this in our cloud subscriptions, these subsidized, reduced subscription packages, then creeping up. And yeah, we're going to see exactly the same thing as Dave says with our AI tools going forwards. Now, yeah, there are arguments for the other side saying yes, but running a task in AI today compared to a year ago is considerably cheaper because of scale and efficiency gains, etc. Like, I mean, a couple of years ago, I heard a fact about AI that the cost difference between asking AI to write the equivalent of the trilogy of Lord of the Rings on that day versus a year beforehand, like the costs were like 90% reduced. of the resources required. So they are getting better. But as Dave says, these are very subsidized pricing. So yeah, as Dave says, enjoy it while you can. And ultimately, now's the time to find where that value is and assess how much would you be willing to pay for that, ready for the future. But yeah, really good point from Dave there about the subsidized subscriptions that is AI technology at the moment. Any other input on that?
I think it's also the hidden costs, right? Because I am definitely, is naughty the right word? Being cheeky, I think, is the best term. Like, I have been a HubSpot advocate for a long time, but I refuse to pay the actual stage up. They got this very crazily, stupidly priced tier system where it goes from mostly affordable and mostly reasonable to outright absurd, and there's no in between, right? Like we're talking tenfold price increase for what it is. And I've always been one of those people who's like hovered over, do I just like bite the bullet, spend that crazy amount of money, because some of the features in there are worthwhile and they would save some time, and do you know what I mean? Like, and you do that cost analysis and you do that, value analysis, and is it worthwhile, etc., etc. Oh, I don't need to worry about that anymore, because thanks to MCP, which is, the way I always explain MCP is it's basically APIs for AI agents. I've read, like I was saying, there was those 14 tasks that are going. None of them are accounting related. They're all admin related, right? And one of them, or a couple of them, are those features that I would have had to pay the obscene amount of money to HubSpot. Now, at some point, HubSpot are definitely going to see that, definitely going to block that, and definitely going to find a way for us to actually spend that money with them, right? Because why wouldn't you? They're leaving money on the table. So I think that's the sort of thing where there are these extra costs, and it's, I'm now paying for One Cow, which is an AI solution that merges all my calendars together. I would never even thought about paying for that if it wasn't because I see the benefit of ChatGPT and OpenAI and Claude and everything else, talking to other solutions, and that was a piece of the puzzle that wasn't quite working because all my calendars were all over the place, right? Like, yep. The costs, and that's why I said I think I'd love to invite Dave onto that AI show as well and let him tell us what he's paying as well, because I think we all need to, and this isn't let's flex our muscles and show off. This is a proper, like, candid talk about, are we getting our value out of it? And I think between us, we all feel like we are.
If we're getting our value, let's share how we're doing that so others can get value out of it as well. Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it'd be great just to have Dave on just to talk about what he does use AI for, because Dave is his due diligence on what AI can and can't do for him is fantastic. So if you are of a more cautious mind about AI and you have your reservations, then listening to someone like Dave talk about what he's comfortable with doing with AI and what he's not comfortable, and where his red lines are, versus mine and Aaron's a bit more, we'll throw some mud at the wall and see what happens, see what sticks, type approach. I think our listeners would do a fantastic session with Dave there. So yeah, definitely we'll reach out to you, Dave, outside of the podcast, and see if we can organize something like that. We'd love to hear your views on it. Absolutely. Paul says, looking forward to Apron Connect with Free Agent. That must be soon, surely, because that was announced back in May, right?
I assume that's payments as well. Is that right? Or is that?
Well, I don't know if it's payments or if it's just the receipt capture tool, but they announced something back at Accountex, and I've not seen it come to fruition yet.
They did, didn't they? Because we talked about it on the thing. I forgot about that. I mean, I think it is receipt. It's trying to get the receipt capture into Free Agent and push from there. So that'd be interesting. Yeah. Cool.
Kirsty says, oh yes, Dave on your AI show. Saw Dave at the ICB summit last year. Blew my little mind. Yeah, I mean,
still recovering from me, aren't you, Kirsty?
Yeah, no, I mean, I still live in envy of his Stream Deck setup, and I still sat there going, I can't get 3 Stream Decks to work off my Mac half the time. Never mind 20 or 30 like he's got. I don't understand the setup. Like, and imagine the cable management. Christ. But yeah, Dave is a very interesting guy to get on. We'll have to sort that out.
it is interesting that he's still renowned for the Stream Deck, isn't he? Because it was Daz, wasn't it, when we were all walking by? And I'll always remember going, someone else knows what a Stream Deck is? Wow. And then he was like showing me exactly. I'm like, right, look, it turns out I didn't know how to use my Stream Deck properly all this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Us amateurs just plugging it in and pressing a button, and actually there's whole workflows and stuff behind it.
Exactly.
Suzanne says, Apron, it's the receipt capture, which will be coming soon to free agent. Payments will follow.
Nice.
Greg, hope you are well from Australia. Evening all, late to the party today. That's all right, Greg, no problems at all. And Paul Ingram says, I was told initially will be capture. Yeah, capture from Apron into free agent initially, followed by payments. But yeah, we ought to ask Apron when that's coming, because that got announced in May and still not there yet.
Well, there's a grid walk coming up, so we can always grill them there, can't we? I mean,
we can, yep.
Don't you worry about it. We will ask those awkward questions.
Absolutely. Cool. Right. That leaves 18 minutes. Susanna says receipt capture is currently in beta testing.
Oh, nice. And that's a big thing for free agent, isn't it? Because I don't think they let anyone else do receipt capture, do they, other than their own? Is that right?
No, you can use Dext and auto entry.
Oh, you can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wrong. Okay. All right. That'd be cool.
And Dean says, I spoke to Apron last week and there is still no date, but they will ring next when there is. Fantastic. And Suzanne says, yes, they do have auto entry with free agent. There you go. Brilliant. Right, Aaron, because we've not spoken about this enough recently. You've put on these show notes how we would do MTD differently.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know that I would.
Oh,
like,
I mean, they know themselves that it wasn't the cleanest of launches, even though it's like, what I'm trying to say here, mostly it's because of the Sam Wood thing. I thought, like, let's honor him and let's talk about his legacy. I fully agree. I mean, it's more Craig that kind of brought this up, but like what kind of brought me to this conversation topic was they have both openly said they wish they'd mandated bank accounts, right? A business bank account to go with MTD. That for you to be able to submit an MTD solution or quarterly update, you have to have some form of at least a separate bank account to go in there. That would have been a really nice thing. I mean,
which problem is, right, with that, whether you mandate it or not, it's been in the banking rules for a very long time that you have to have. And I'm seeing banks debank people constantly where they've used personal bank accounts inappropriately for business purposes. And, you know, like even I got a message from my banking provider a few months ago because I put some money into one of my businesses as like an investment into one of my businesses. And they came back to me saying, can you explain why you're using your personal account to receive funds and then put them into your business account? It's like, because it's a personal investment I'm making, get off my back. The banks are hotter on this than they've ever been before. And for breaching their terms and conditions, I'm not sure legislation would have helped with this on that point.
But I think it's because it's the hot age-old problem, isn't it? Where a lot of the clients who are being fall foul of MTD, it's almost accidental, right? Like they were just selling a few things on eBay and it ballooned. Or do you know what I mean? And originally, of course, they were just using their personal bank account because they were always using their personal bank account. Like, what's that cutoff point between, you know, it becoming a just selling the stuff that they got in their loft versus actually going out there to make some money? And that's a conversation topic we have a lot with clients lately, right? And yes, there is a strict, this is business, this is thing, but that's really difficult for them to get their head around. And if it was a case that once you are classed as a business, you have to mandate it, I think that would just go down a little bit better. My big ask though is that, you know, if I could have turned back time and would have gone back to it, I think we should have started the first transient of MTD should have only have been VAT registered businesses. Like, imagine a world where the only people who had to submit that first quarter, and personally I would have brought it a year before then, because we've had a lot less like issues to bring in, right? If we'd have brought it forward 1 year and mandated it was only for VAT registered businesses, I just feel like
this year would still have been 50,000, but last year would have been the 90,000. Yeah.
We could have tested all these problems out, kicked the tires, got all the nuances through. We would have learned as accountants and bookkeepers how to register them, how to get them in, how to, make sure that we've got a 64 rating in place, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
We could have done all of that in a safer environment, if that makes sense, because they were already using software anyway, right? This wasn't having to teach them how to use software. This was teaching or getting to grips with a whole new process of submitting. So if I could have turned back time, I just wish that was, that was an opportunity, and we would have done that, because I think that runway, that moving through that disturbance, that pain point would have been eradicated just by going, well, let's just target these people who are already using software anyway.
Yeah.
Let's test it out with them, and then in this year or whenever they would have done that 50,000 for everyone else, we'd have onboarded the rest of them in that, that wasn't using software and was struggling to use software. And I just feel like it would have been less of a kick for us to kind of go through, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. So we're not asking how would we have done it. We're asking how HMRC should have done it differently.
Yeah. What could they have done? What could they have done differently? Because they're going to obviously evaluate this, and they're going to look at it, and they're going to
Look, I mean, I think overall, compared to the VAT experience, I think they did really well at educating. I think they did very well at putting people like Craig and Sam in front of the accounting industry and having those representatives and that channel for feedback. I think they smashed it. And we've said several weeks in a row now that Companies House need to follow these learnings. But yeah, I'm still getting fed up with people telling me there's no opportunity in MTD it. If there's no opportunity, then why am I still getting inquiries for new customers because of MTD it?
Yeah.
Like, we had literally someone WhatsApped us the other day saying, "Oh, I've missed my Q1 filing. I'm now, I'm behind. Can you help? And by the way, can you do my annual tax return as well? Like, I've done it all myself for ages, but now I've got to do all this. You may as well do the whole lot." So, absolutely, come on this way, sir. So yeah, I still stand by my argument that there's absolutely tons of opportunity for us as an industry to grow and grow our client base, our revenue opportunities, employ more people, train more people, etc. I like your idea though of actually if we mandated this to the VAT registered businesses first and then the others, great. Thinking about the banking comment that Craig's made about they wish they'd mandated that you had to have a business bank account. That wouldn't have changed anything for this current wave of clients in my firm's case, because they do all have their own separate bank accounts. But I can see that becoming more and more prevalent in the future years, where when your turnover is like under 30 and under 20, they're less likely to have the extensive processes. So, I mean, HMRC have still got 9 months to bring that in. And opening a business bank account with someone like Monzo, Revolut, etc., it's a pretty quick and easy process. So I'd argue if you mandated it now, ready for April next year, that gives people enough time to start sorting this stuff out.
Yeah, to kind of miss the boat though, haven't they? Because I would have thought.
Well, no, because I still think the majority of the people that are going to be using one bank account for everything are in those lower earning thresholds.
Yeah, the next two, aren't they? Definitely.
And
my only other ask would be that, can we be more transparent of when the next lot of MTDs coming through? Because that's the only thing that's kind of question mark now, right? When's partnerships coming in? When are we bringing in the people below 20,000? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And we're not saying they have to be mandated for quarter 1 and quarterly updates, but I'm kind of sick and tired of having this whole split account, like client thing. And I just would nice to be able to tell the team, and nice to be able to tell clients, and nice to be able to all be on the same wavelength that by 2030 or whatever the date's going to be, everyone's on this one platform. Everyone's going to be filing from this way. Because at the moment, my fear is that we're just going to be left in this uncertainty for a long time, and I feel like we just need to pull that plaster now. We've started the process, like we're starting to pull it off. We all know what it's like slowly pulling a plaster off. It's like hell, right? So let's just rip it off now. We're in. Let's rip it off, and let's just get everyone into an MTD somehow solution. Again, doesn't need to be quarterly updates.
It makes a change for me not being the most hated person when it comes to positivity about MTD it and wanting more people doing it. This week it'll be your turn.
But I just look, there's obviously positivity around MTD. We're gonna open up some more functionality. Like, we should be in a position where it's going to close the tax gap and all that sort of stuff that the PR people tell us. But in reality, it's actually a better experience for us to file the returns and to have, like just the simple things like we're guaranteed to see what their POIE element is at the end of the year. In the old SA100 world, it was a roll the dice and hope we're going to see it, right? And fingers crossed that we're gonna get that data available to us. But now, we are seeing that. So it's digitalization. The tax system is a good thing. We just need to kind of find a way to be able to bring it in. And again, it doesn't need to be quarterly updates to do that. I just think we need to move everyone over. Then we can start bringing in quarterly updates more regularly. And I feel like if we're all on the same system, we're all there, we're all having all of that, I feel like everyone would just feel better. Because at the moment, we're kind of having to treat MTD or whatever you want to call it as a separate service, when really this should be continuation of the other one, right?
Yeah, definitely. And Chris Downey says, join the club of positivity, free membership and a few perks. Absolutely, Chris. I think it's modernized, and it's going to modernize a lot more small businesses to bring in technology and stuff. I see the benefits. Like, I'm looking forward to Companies House rules about accounts filing and having to be done through software and stuff, because I don't think half the industry understand the inefficiencies that come with filing accounts via the Companies House website or through putting a self-assessment through the government gateway. It's so inefficient. It takes so much time. It is ridiculous. And unfortunately, and while there's a price tag involved, people don't weigh up the difference between their time on a software and their time on a government gateway and the genuine cost of that to their productivity, their efficiency, etc. Whereas these mandations kind of force that productivity improvement through for us.
And correctness, right? Like, that's one thing software does bring. It standardizes it so that it's correct. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all taken on clients who have, been doing it for years using Companies House, and they've just filed it and they're completely wrong. And there's some real uncomfortable conversations having to have with clients about trying to correct that and course correct and get them back into it. Whereas if they were using software, yeah, you're right, there's a cost involved, but there's a cost that is actually going to be correct going forward, or at least will be closer to being correct than it would have been.
It's a better chance of it.
Yeah. And then with all this, like, now Claude's so much more accessible, right? Like, I hope they don't, but I can imagine clients will throw it into there and just say, is this correct, right? Like, I'm more comfortable with them doing that than they would in this day and age, where they're trying to just throw the mud at the wall, like you said before, right? Like, and hope it sticks. And let's just hope that people can see that positivity and see that benefit and kind of go with it. And it means solutions out there that are being forced to be thought of. We wouldn't be having Sage embedded services if it wasn't for MTD, right? Like, and look how good that's going to be for the industry. So we've got to keep that like people out, software solutions out there need a carrot on the stick, don't they? And these are the carrot on the sticks to go out there and build us cooler technology that's actually going to help us actually deliver the work to our clients.
Absolutely. Well, at least there'll be 3 or 4 of us on the voodoo doll shelf having pins put into us by the negativity of hating MTD it this week. That'll make a nice change. I won't be on my own. Cool. We've got a couple of minutes.
Go for it.
One of our long-standing favorite apps sent me an email the other day I believe you got the same email, Aaron, about a brand new version of their app, loads of new features, etc. And I can't find any of the new features, Aaron. So Calendly sent an app out saying, Calendly, basically, it was paraphrasing it, Calendly 2.0. This is the future of Calendly booking, right? So, fantastic. What are all these new features? So far, I found a new logo. I mean, am I the only one that's found this? Have you looked into this? Have you found any new features that are groundbreaking that we should all be looking at?
So, full disclosure, as soon as they announced there was a keynote, I was like, I'm going to have to watch that. So I set my calendar, put it through. Ironically, Calendly didn't see that calendar invite and left it open. And a client booked in that time frame. So I never got to watch the keynote.
Awkward.
I never went back to watch it either. So, ironically, Calendly let themselves down. For me, this is a exact way of how not to do a launch, because they made a big song and dance about it. They sent a load of emails out. They were on socials. They were talking about it. Every time you logged into the product, it was telling you about this new product launch 2.0, like you said already. Every single one of those solutions was already out in the product already. So it was this new Callie, I think they're calling it, something like that, their new AI assistant that hopefully, they say will be able to make it easier for you to
note taker. Is there anyone that hasn't got a note taker? I think not having the note taker actually stands you out as unique and cool now, doesn't it? Because everyone else has got a bloody note taker for whatever reason they can come up with.
The idea of Callie is supposed to be that instead of sending a link, you could have a back and forth with the client. But I thought the whole point of Calendly was stop back and forth. So I'm a little bit confused what they're trying to achieve here. But hey, they think they've found this new fancy way of doing it, like, better than a link and going through from there. Honestly, it's just been, I was so excited about what they're going to do, because I'm trying to justify the cost of Calendly at the moment, because I just feel like it's a necessary evil. Like I've just said, I've found this new solution that means I can merge all my calendars into one called OneCal. To me, that replaces Calendly, because then I can use any other solution I want out there. We were talking, weren't we? Vinyl's just released their
or about to release,
yeah. My problem with that would have been that it was only going to look at one calendar, so I would have struggled. Now I don't have that worry, so I could look at that now, and I could consider that, and I'd prefer having something like that can kind of go through and be able to see there, like having a HubSpot to be able to do, or whatever I need to do, right? Like I much prefer using tools that I'm already using than having to pay a separate fee just really for one use. And when that one use is because I'm kind of forced into it, it kind of makes it a little bit bitter taste. So I was hoping this would be their opportunity to wow me over and go, there's my justification of spending an obscene amount of money, really, when you think about it, for a booking link option. I suppose the only other feature that Calendly does that the others don't necessarily is the paid for meeting, isn't it? But you can always, there's ways around that, isn't there? And you can make it easier than the other way. So look, I just feel like this is a thing of how not to win over your stakeholders and keep them interested, because I just feel like if anything, I'm now less likely to want to use them going forward.
I think if they targeted non-users or ex-users with their keynote and stuff, and they look, this is everything that's in the product today, those people would have looked at it and gone, okay, that's interesting. But targeting their current users, going, and we're like, that's all been there for quite a while, guys. It's a nice new logo, but it's all been there quite a while. Maybe they just didn't define their audience properly for it, and maybe it was targeting ex-users and non-users, and they just messed that communication part up. Who knows? But I was disappointed to see the lack of innovation by Calendly, even though technically what they've announced compared to where they were a year ago is a lot of innovation. normally you get the announcement and then the innovation, not the innovation and then an announcement to follow it up.
I mean, the good thing about their note taker is it would be instantly context sensitive to the meeting itself, right? Which is another reason why that vinyl integration looks so attractive, because in theory it already knows who's in the meeting. It could probably do some check. I've had to build one of my agents, that those 12 agents is one that goes into my calendar, figures out who I've got this month, and then sends to Claude any information I might need to know about it, right? Like it's doing that technology, but I'm having to build it in the background to do it. If I could just have that working for everyone in the team and it was just switched on and it worked, of course I'm going to be excited and interested in it. So like they have some innovation there and it is cool, but it wasn't enough to make me go, wow. And this is a tool that I'm sure if we did a poll of the accounting and bookkeeping industry, I'd imagine it's quite a high adoption rate, right? Like, everyone pretty much has a meeting link solution of some sort, and I imagine Calendly is still up there as one of the number one. So the fact that we're kind of sat here going, nah, doesn't bode well for it going forward, does it?
No, it does not. Not at all. But yes. Right. Well, that brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you very much for everyone joining us. Don't forget, next week is a special week, 200th episode of the weekly live show. So join us as we have a look back and reflect on the journey we've been on. We'll also cover any news if there is any, and we will have various guests throughout the show. And don't forget, guys, send us your voice notes so we can play them on the show as part of that. We want to hear from you, our community. So yeah. And also, guys, don't forget, over the next couple of weeks, make sure you're catching up on, we've got Cool Friends, Grid Walks, and all the other great content we've been producing for the last 4 years now, so that we can hit that 4,000 mile watch hours milestone that we are aiming for. What have you got up to? What are you up to this week, Aaron?
Off to Business Works tomorrow. Got a few things kind of in the fire that we're making some big changes for, so looking forward to kind of being able to talk more openly about that. And yeah, really preparing for the 200th as well. We got like a little montagey video to finish off, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so what about yourself, Jan? Anything exciting your end?
No, it's a week of productivity looking at my diary. So yeah, just as I say, things like Analytics contracts coming to an end, so I need to review what's on the market and what the options are before we re-sign with them and stuff. So yeah, various meetings and review points, but nothing too exciting or stand out. So yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you very much to everyone that joined us, commented on the feeds, etc. This show is only as good as the comments and interactions we get. And we will see you all next week for episode 200. Very excited about that.
Can't believe it. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.